Swinging a high drive into center field. Hits at the wall. It is gone! Costas does it again. It's gone! It's into the bullpen! This game is tied!
And he swings and rips one to center field. It's high, it's deep, it's back, it's gone! Sale winds, he fires. Swing and a miss, strike three, it's over! The Red Sox have won the World Championship!
All right, welcome back to Play Testing. It's episode 221. This is the official Red Sox podcast of WEI. Remember, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe to WEI on YouTube. Here with Sammy, but also here with a special guest. We're joined by Red Sox World Series champ Kevin Millar. Millar, how you doing?
Boys, how you doing? I'm doing good. Just got off the golf course, got my butt kicked by Rich Bean. Remember 2002, he beat Tiger Woods for the, water maker, I think, at Hazeltine in Minnesota. I'm like, and here I am thinking we're going to have a chance. He was 5 under. I was breaking. I shot 81.
No shame. That's good. I'm Garbo on the golf course. So, I mean, I'm sure you get out there a good amount, but I wouldn't even hold a candle. But God, first question I got to ask.
Yeah.
So you're on MLB Network all the time, and you do the games on NESN sometimes too. You got a good pulse of the league. You got a good pulse of the Sox. Tell us, Millar, what is going on with our boys this year? Like the Red Sox, it hasn't clicked. They have been under 500. Just from your eyes as a former big leaguer, like what's wrong with this team right now?
Yeah, something's up, right? And I think it started with the late Alex Bregman signing. I think Devers gets his feelings hurt. Maybe the communication wasn't there by the Red Sox, and then all of a sudden you're going to DH, and then it was kind of weird. The first question in camp, third base is my question. So it starts off always like that. And by the way, that's okay. Rafi, I know the $317 million, but at that immediate situation, you got to understand he's been the third baseman here for 6+ years. And then a late sign, it was kind of like, where's Bregman going to play? Is he going to maybe play second? Obviously, he's number one defensive metric, so he's going to third, and deservedly so. So that starts it off, right? But then after that, Rafi gets off to a terrible start and then just gets on fire. Tristan Casas gets hurt, and here we go. Why doesn't Rafi play first, right? And it kind of started with he's not going to play first. He's not comfortable to play first, but we don't really know. Has he been asked to play first? Has somebody gone up to him and said, here's your glove, you're hitting second, you're playing first? We forget sometimes we're employees of the club. And let me tell you, if you're embarrassed because you might make a fool of yourself, that's on the organization. Once we ask you to play somewhere, like I played right field, Trot had a bad back, I'd be in right field. I can't run or throw. So I'm playing deep. I'm trying to hit my cutoff man, but you play where it helps that day for the team. And I think that's the thing that's missing right now is that it's just, I think would feel a lot better to the fans, to the media, to the Red Sox if Rafi went in there and played 3 days of practice and 10 ground balls at first and just started figuring it out. And then his next thing at first, Yoshida could DH. He can't throw. We open up a bat. The team maybe becomes better. It opens up some gates. And I think then you kind of stop this like whispering because there's a lot of whispering. Whether Rafi's upset at the front office, that's okay. We dealt with it with Manny. But as a team, you got to look at Manny and say, hey, dude, this is me. John Henry, Tom Warner, Red Sox front office, Theo Epstein, has nothing to do with us. So I think Rafi's not a bad dude at all. He's a very sweet kid, right? And I think the kid part is what drives everybody crazy, but they paid him $317 million. And so now Rafi's Rafi. He's a great dude. You just got to get to him and say, dude, I need you to play first. Now, if he says no to Jaron Duran or Rob Refsnyder or Garrett Crochet or Alex Bregman, then it becomes weird. But I think you need a big old team dinner. You need a boys club, positive energy. It's June. We got 4 months left. We've seen the Twins. We've seen the Brewers. We've seen the Cardinals. They've all had multi-win streaks. Now what? We can't do that? Yeah, you can do that. You're playing for a wild card spot, which is a chip and a chair. The division means no advantage. Now go play and just win ball games.
So it seems like everyone's got an opinion on the Devers situation, rightfully so. From your perspective, how does that affect the clubhouse? You alluded to it a little. You yourself were willing to go out in right field, more of a first baseman, valiant of you to go out there anyway. How does it affect the clubhouse when a guy is, sort of not willing to go the extra mile to help the team?
Yeah, that's why I don't know the conversations that have had, right? I don't know. Has there been a player to ask him as the front office, as Al's Core? I don't know what the real story is. Are they afraid to ask him? We know the rumors, but Has anybody walked up to him and said, hey, here's a first base glove. I need you a couple days to take some ground balls at first. Has anybody done that? Then if he says no, well, then there's a restricted list. You're an employee of the Red Sox, right? I don't have to pay you then at that point if you want to get down to deep end of the water. So I don't know if has it happened, but I think it would mean a lot if it has and will happen, right? I think it would stop a lot of this noise because there's always whispers. And at the end of the day, dude, when there's an issue in the clubhouse, if we're not addressing it with doors closed, means no media needs to know anything. We can go to a suite. You know how many times Jason Veritek and I hit in our underwear with pizza boxes talking about Mark Bellhorn when he was struggling and swinging and missing, and then next thing you know, Bellhorn's coming over and we got Bronson coming over playing guitar. And we end up having 15 dudes in Jason Veritek's suite because we cared about each other. So I think some camaraderie, the chemistry, the stop the whisperings, don't let the media invade. And the questions, obviously, first day of camp, what did Rafi get asked? Well, are you playing third base? You're the third baseman. Alex Bregman's here. Like, of course you put him up. Yeah, I'm the third baseman. I've been here. Maybe he goes to second. Well, he ends up playing third, but it turns into this scene, right? And then it becomes uncomfortable, but it needs to be handled. I'll tell you that, because time is a ticking, but we got 4 months instead of 2 months.
Right. So you mentioned it could become uncomfortable. On the flip side, if Rafael Devers were to randomly come out and just say, put me at first base, put me at third base, I'll do whatever it takes to help the team. How do you think that narrative flip could help the clubhouse?
It helps because you have Yoshida. Let's not forget about him. He's got $90 million, $95 million. He can't throw a baseball, but he can hit. You open up spots for your manager. By the way, Alex Cora getting heat is ridiculous. He's a dude. Guys love playing for him. He just signed an extension. It's us. If I hang an 0-2 curveball, give up a 3-run home run, that's not Alex Cora. I got to be accountable for not doing my job. I hung it and or whatever. If I strike out with bases loaded and don't get the run in late in the game, we lose a game 1 run. And now we're 6-19. We have to do our job. So players got to step up. Players got to be better. We got to play better. We go through struggles. It's okay. But now you just got to take a deep breath and figure this out. But Alex Cora is not an issue. And it drives me crazy when you just hear like, Alex Cora is not doing his job. What's Alex Cora not doing? What's he not doing? Lucas Giolito knows that he's got to be better. He didn't give up 6 runs yesterday, Alex. Lucas kind of get out the gates, got up to a slow start. They score 4. We bounce back, score 5. We get in a little skirmish before the game. Maybe that's the starting point. It happened with us with the Yankees. You need a little vibe and a little boys come together, and then maybe they've had dinner. But I would have 25 dudes at a steakhouse. Richest dudes paying, and let's talk ball. Let's talk team. Let's talk Boston. Let's not worry about all this baloney.
Do you think that's kind of lost in today's game? The camaraderie, the team, the boys club. Like, I feel like back you guys, it was just best friend. And I know not every team can be full of best friends. We're all boys. I get it, but it feels like maybe because my baseball memory starts right in 03, and maybe, I mean, you saw it, especially in 2013 too, like best friends on the team, always hanging out, boys club all the time. And I don't want to say it doesn't exist, but it feels different these days. Do you see that? Like, when you're around these clubs, do you think it's kind of different these days?
Sure, that's a great question, because it is different. What's different? People say, like, what's different? I'll tell you exactly what's different. Devices, phones, Instagram, sitting there, how many likes you have, like trying to become famous before you're good at baseball. Go to your hotel room and you play video games and you order chicken wings. You know what I'm saying? That's what you do these days. The old days, we sat in the hotel bar, we ordered a couple cocktails, and we talked about the game. We talked about the loss. We talked about the W. We talked about the struggles. We talked about the great nights. So the chemistry is what you're building for long term, right? I will tell you this right now. This team's different than the last 5 years. They have likable dudes. Garrett Crochet is an ultimate pro. He's almost underpaid. He's better than everybody thought, right? Walker Buehler's a bona fide pro. Alex Bregman's a baseball player, dude. He's a winning type player. Boston loves that. He gets hurt, that stinks. We just need dudes to step up and do their job. But I think the chemistry on this club is there. The Rafi Devers whispers of where he's going to play. Is he ever going to play in our defensive position? That's there. And it's like weird. No one's like addressing it. I mean, because if I was in that club, I'd be like, Rafi, come here, dude. I'm going to need you, pimp. We need you bad. We need Yoshida could DH, and then we can open up that. It makes maybe our team better that day on a tough Friday. Like, let's think team. And I don't know if that conversation happened, right? If it has, and he said no, then there's probably, some uncomfortable stuff going on, but I don't know if that's it.
It's weird because I mean, obviously from an outside perspective, we don't know, But you get the feeling that the guys have not gone up to him and talked to him about it. It's kind of like, we'll let the organization handle that. Like, maybe we've got our opinions, and I'm sure guys have differing opinions. I'm sure there's some guys in the clubhouse that think the team did Raffy dirty, and I'm sure that there's plenty of others that want him playing the field. But it does kind of feel like we're not going to interject here and get involved.
It feels that way. That's why I said it's an internal situation. We don't need to know. Media doesn't need to know, right? Manny Ramirez didn't show up for 3 games against the Yankees. Think about that in Fenway Park. He was at the Four Seasons, remember Rico Wilson, and we had to address that. Trot Nixon wanted to eat his face off. We're heading to Chicago to play the White Sox on a Monday makeup game. And then I had to talk to Manny. Bobby, you know why everybody's mad, right? Has nothing to do with you and John Henry, the organization, or whatever, Theo, or somebody gave you an error. That has nothing to do with anything. This is about us, right? You love me, I love you. You love Poppy, he loves you. Pedro Martinez, like, this is what you got to address. So if Rafi, has some beef with the front office or the management, great. That's fine. It's not the first players had beef, but you have to have that boys club, that chemistry. That's where we win. We shut the noise off. We don't need to know every player's meeting. That's not our business. You guys didn't know half the things, or when I say you guys, the media, when we rolled, we rolled. They didn't have to go to Dan Roach and tell him, hey man, we had a team meeting and we addressed, Veritek not running the ball at the first base. No, dude. It was already addressed. And I think that's good teams police themselves. Remember that. This is not the manager's job. Good teams police themselves. So if they're going to be a great team or a good team, police yourself. Alex Cora's got a ton of things to do, interviews, media. He doesn't play. He plugs in the guys. We have to do our job. End of story.
So slightly different topic. Roman Anthony, currently AAA, tearing it up. Looks unbelievable. Can't really do much more at this point. What's your take on the situation? And do you think that the major league team is discussing Roman Anthony internally?
Well, I tell you, it gives you that boost of energy. You saw Jack Caglione come up for the Royals. He had 15 homers, 53 ribbies in 50 games, hit 325. Royals haven't scored any runs. They're in a tailspin. Well, guess what? Let's call up our dude because it makes us happy, and let's let him hit home runs in the big leagues. We've seen it. He's rakes, and he's 6'5" with power. So I think the Roman Anthony thing, there's been a little bit of a scuffle and trying to get, well, great. Call him up. Let's put him in the lineup. Marcelo Meyer. The exciting thing about young players is that we don't have a baseball card for them. So they might hit 487. They might hit 159. But it's this fun energy like, oh, dude, here's the number 1 prospect or whatever it is. You have so much hype these days. We didn't have all that. We didn't have number 1 in the organization. You had a couple of that. But now it's Major League Baseball. We have the MLB Network. People know everything. Yeah, like he's a dude. You saw Evan Carter do it for Bruce Bochy in 2022. No one even heard of Evan Carter. He's hitting 3rd in the World Series. You know what Boch said? The boy can play. There you go. So Roman Anthony might hit 4th for the Red Sox next 15 years, but let's get him up here and see. We need a little spark. Let's do it.
Yeah, we've seen it here in Boston with Bogarts, Ellsbury. 100%. We've seen it before.
For sure.
That's exactly right. Duran, the player he's turned into. This guy respects the game. This guy hustles every single night. This guy loves every minute he's out there. He gives you everything. That's what you respect. You gravitate to that. Even in struggles, the game's hard. You're going to go through struggles, but respecting it and caring, and I think that goes a long way in the city.
So obviously, like nowadays, the public, the baseball fans, like we all know so much more about prospects because there's just so much more info out there about these kids. But when you were playing, did you guys talk about that stuff? Like the kids that maybe you saw in spring training, the kids in the minors, or even like trades that you thought could improve the team? If you were struggling, like, would you guys think, okay, well, the guys upstairs, they should be doing this, this, and this? Or do you kind of just focus on yourself?
Well, I'll give you a situation. Jonathan Papelbon in 05, right? No one even knew this kid. He comes up as a spot starting. We're playing in Fort Lauderdale against the Orioles in spring training. And Daniel Cabrera was pitching for the Orioles, who ended up being my teammate the following year in 06. So he throws 159 miles an hour. He's 6'8", and it goes everywhere.
Yep.
drills Trot Nixon in the middle of the 7. Like collapses him. Oh, he just gets away, but it's 100. We have Jonathan Papelbon. No one knows this kid. It's just a minor league kid making a start for us, right? He goes out the next inning, and Sammy Sosa was with the Orioles at that moment. There's nothing said to this kid, and he absolutely throws 198 in the middle of Sammy Sosa's 21. Cardboard box, collapses him at home plate. We get out of this inning, and I'm around field going, who is this dude? Like young dudes don't do that. Usually the catcher's got to go, hey, dude, that was on purpose. That was from last year. Let's hit this guy. That dude made an impact to us. So immediately when we go into the year and we need a spot start, hey, that dude, Jonathan Papon, he's not afraid. And so that's how you build that. And that's how you built it in spring training. They know who Roman Anthony is. They know this kid's a good kid. And he's just the ability, sky's the limit because he's going foul pole to foul pole. Well, now we're in this spot. Couple injuries here. We're trying to figure it out. Yoshida can't throw. Well, hey, dude, let's bring up Roman Anthony. And I know there's more to it and the clock starts and all that stuff, but we need a spark. And that's kind of fun when the young guys come up and they might get off.
Yeah. So we're going to let you get out of here soon. But before we go, I know you got some events coming up soon. Talk to us about the 04 Red Sox World Champions Cruise. What's it entail? How can people get tickets? Like, run us through everything.
Yeah, City Cruise, they're doing a thing. Mike Flasky, a buddy of mine, thought about this type of experience, and Hornblower, the company's with, thinking about cruises around Boston. They're going to do one in Chicago. Brian Urlacher, AJ Brzezinski is going to have one. You bring 2 teammates. We're going to have Derek Lowe and Orlando Cabrera on Father's Day, Sunday. Cruise around a couple hours. It's cozy. It's fun. It's Q&A. It's an experience, right? Going to the Sox game, awesome. You get field passes for BP. You get to see how far those balls are going. So that experience is what the idea of Mike Flasky and City Cruises, and it's going to be fun. Our first one's June 15th. They're playing the Yanks. And then after that game, you can get your tickets online. I think they're $80. There's going to be a bar. There's food. It'll be a lot of fun. And plus, I always like interacting with the fans. Boston's like family. And when you get a cozy situation, it's kind of like spring training, right? Spring training, you're going field to field. You get a chance to talk to the kids, the dads, the grandparents. During season, players are hard to get to. This is fun. And even though it was 21 years ago, I think the comeback on Netflix, it brought a lot more, just the memories that it brought back. It feels like it was last week. And I'm thinking 21 years ago, but I remember those series, and that was what it was all about.
What's it like, man? I mean, you said it 21 years ago. I mean, you talk about coming back to Boston. You probably haven't bought a drink here in 21 years. Like, what's it like? You get to bring back the boys and just celebrate this title, and you'll do it for the rest of your life. Like, it's never going to go away.
The passion of this city. I grew up in LA for 20 years, Dodger fan my whole life, Vince Scully, my dad, the radio, the whole thing, right? I go to college in Texas, stayed here 33 years. So I'm a fake Cowboy, but when I played for the Red Sox, I played most of my career all on the East Coast. I was like, that's my type of makeup. This is blue collar. They care every night. You could be playing the Royals on a Tuesday at 1:00. You couldn't get a seat. They're passionate. They care. They're going to be hard on you through your tough times. And if you don't give effort, you're going to be crying. If you give effort to the tough times and care, they're going to give you a longer leash. It's a great city. And I tell you, I don't just say this. It's the greatest fans in all sports. The Red Sox fans. You have jerseys from a 5-year-old all the way up to a grandmother who could be 90 years old. And I think that's the difference is when you go to Fenway Park, grab a hot dog, and you're coming out with a Red Sox hat. I've had friends and family, Astros and Rangers fans. They go to Boston, they're in. So it's special.
Yeah, we're also kind of crazy, which just makes it more fun.
No Tobin Bridge.
Yeah.
You guys get too Tobin Bridgey 2 months into the season.
I love that we know exactly what you're saying when you say I got to ask, completely unrelated to baseball. You sound like you're born and raised in Texas. When did you start getting the accent?
So I went to junior college in Los Angeles, LA City Junior College, right down the street from USC. It's where the kids that can't get in and bad SATs. I was one of them. I wanted to go play, so it was an inner city. Compton was in a thing, so tough neighborhood. 2 years there, then I got a chance to go to Lamar University in Beaumont, Texas, which is about an hour outside of Houston, border of Louisiana, to Lamar University. And I'm telling you, when I left LA at that time, it was a tough time with the Crips and Bloods and in that era. And I'm like, I got gangbangers at my football games. Now we have like little girls with cookies, and it was the coolest high school football Friday Night Lights. I'm like, I want this. And I stayed there, met my wife. So I've been in Texas 33 years. So that's why I always joke around. Cowboy up. I had to learn how to be a cowboy late in my life, but there's no better place to be than I love the state of Texas.
Love it.
Oh yeah, man. Kevin Millar, man, we appreciate it, man. You were on those teams. I'm telling you, my first baseball memories, like you were a big part of those, and those first few years that I watched the game, and you were always one of my favorites. I'll tell you, it was, I don't know when it was, but you hit an inside the park home run, and I must have been like 5 or 6 years old. And I thought that was the craziest thing that I had ever seen in my life. I'm like, okay, that's my guy right there. He hit the inside
From the
of the park home run.
slowest dude in the world. I have 2 inside the park home runs. One is at Wrigley. It was my first home run ever.
Hell yeah.
Rick Aguilera, Sammy Sosa goes back. It hits in the ivy. He's looking for it. And my third base coach, Freddie Gonzalez, who's now third base coach of Atlanta. He's going like this. I'm like, is he drunk? And I went in, slid head first. Benito Santiago. I thought maybe he could have got the hill if we had instant replay. Safe. It's my first home run. I had 8 bags in 12 years. And then Fenway Park, what you're talking about, was 0-3 against the Blue Jays. I'll never forget it. Split finger, I hit to the right center where the pole and the bullpen, that bullpen and the wall starts jetting out before it hits the pole and ricochets all the way straight down to the monster where Reed Johnson was backing up like a play at third. So the ball's just flying down the left field foul pole, and off we went again. That was a stand-up inside the park, or 2 in those parks. I think it's the only player in the history of baseball. Think about that, and I can't run a lick.
That's crazy.
Speedster.
Speedster, boys.
Hell yeah.
Love it.
Oh yeah, man. Shout out, man. Thank you so much for jumping on the pod with us, man. We'll see you at Fenway. Whenever you're back there, we will make
Father's Day
we're there
weekend.
with you.
Let's
Hell
go.
yeah, let's
Father's
do
Day
it.
weekend.
We'll be
All
there,
right,
man.
boys.
We'll be there. All right. Thanks
Appreciate
for jumping
it.
on with us, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Gordo, Sammy. Good.